All right, guys, so this should be the last series of our videos. In this one, we want to add the background images to this. Actually, a few things. I want to add the background image. I also want, so if we look at where we are so far, this image isn't centered. So I want to center the image and add a background image in here. Now, when we add the background image, there's so many things that we can do to style this. So I want you guys to look through the styles. We're not going to do all those things in the video, but just style it and make it look good in your final product. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to center the image first. So that image sits inside of, let me see. Okay, so it's sitting inside of 13. So one thing that we need to do is the easiest way to style this is to sit this image inside of a paragraph tag. And that's going to make it a block element. We haven't really talked about block elements yet, but we'll talk about it. It just means that it's a block. It's a box. It's a different box that is text. Because typically the website is built of different boxes. So let's go ahead and put this inside of paragraph tags. So now it sits as a paragraph. If we save that right now and refresh it, we should see some minor things happen to it. One is it pushes down just a little bit to give it that spacing. Okay, so inside of our paragraph tag, let's go ahead and style this out. So what we're going to do is we want it to center. So that's going to be our style tag or our style attribute that we've been using. So style equal quote, quote. And really now that it's in paragraph tags, it's going to be looked at. The browser is going to look at everything that sits inside of here as text, which is what we want. So with it being looked at as text, we can do text align, text dash align, equal, and then colon, center, and then semicolon to close it. And now if we hit save, what we should see when we go back to our page is now our image is centered. And you can do that to anything. Like, for instance, if you wanted your H1 centered, you can do that as well and make it centered. Okay, so now we have it centered. So next thing that we want to do is bring in a background image. And this is going to probably be the most different tag of all that we've done so far. So we want the background image to sit inside of body. So we're going to go up to our body tag. We're going to extend its functionality by putting our cursor right before the right bracket and hitting the space bar. And so by doing that, we're going to add the style attribute. Oops. Hang on. We're going to add the style attribute, and the attribute that we're going to add, the property, is going to be background image, and it's 2 words, so you already know that it's going to be attached with a dash. And if you look in Dreamweaver, it's already there for us. So background dash image colon, don't forget our semicolon. I'll go ahead and put that in there just so that I don't forget. And then I'll go inside of there, and now we'll type out the image that we want. So interesting. So with background images on the CSS side, it's a URL that we're going to. And if you look in Dreamweaver, it already has the URL, but if yours does not, just type URL left paren, right paren, and that's what you're going to get. So left paren, right paren. Dreamweaver comes up and says, hey, do you want to browse for this, or do you want to go to your images folder for this? And since it's pretty smart and it is the images that I want to go to, I'm just going to click on images. And so when you click on images, it's going to let you choose the image. So I happen to know that the image that I want is 2.jpg. But if you don't want to do, well, I'm just going to do it 2.jpg. And then so I'll have the image that way. But if you don't want to do it that way, and you want to, we may have one step too many. Let me just go back to here. Okay, so colon. All right, so I have my URL. And then if I don't want to type it in, I can click here to browse. And then I can browse the image that I'm looking for. And again, the image I'm looking for is 2. And you'll see that it's pretty much the same exact code as if I typed it in myself or as if I just went through the automated menu. And if you hover over it, you'll see what the image looks like. It's a little girl holding up a flag and then several flags around it. So I'm going to hit save real quick. And then I'm going to go to our site, hit refresh, and then see that our image did not come in. Let me see up, but look what I see. I see, that's right, this is supposed to happen. Okay, I see the red 8. And so I'm like, what's going on? This is done exactly as it should be. The issue is we have too many quotes. So there are times when you have to go from single quote to double quote, and this is one of those cases. And it doesn't matter which order you do as long as it's in the correct order. So I could either change out these 2 quotes to be single quotes, or I could change out this quote to be I could change out these 2 quotes to be single quotes, the beginning and the end, or I could change out these 2 quotes to be single quotes. But either way, something has to be changed to be single quotes. So I'm actually going to change these and make them single quotes. And Dreamweaver thinks that I want something different, but I don't. Notice that my whole site's turning yellow because it's like, what's going on? And I got to be like, it's okay. All right, so now the world is great again. Let's just see if it works out for us this time. I think I hit save. I did. Refresh. And now we'll have our background image come in. So there are times when if you're using multiple quotes, you will have to interchange between the single quote and the double quote because it gets confused. All right, so I have this background image in, and I could go through and I could style the text and maybe make it, a different color. I'll just do 1 so that you get the hang of it, and I'll have you guys do the rest. So let's say I want to style something I don't have. So Adam's prediction, where is that? Over here. Okay, so Adam's prediction is over here. It is right here. So I'm going to style that text and make it another color. Actually, I'm just going to choose white to be simple, to make it simple. So I'm going to go into the P tag, extend the functionality with an attribute. The attribute that I'm going to extend the functionality with is style. So that's the style equals quote, quote. I'm going to say color, because remember for text, it is just the word color. And I'm going to go with azure. I was going to go with white, but then I saw azure. Can't go wrong with Azure, I don't think. All right, so I'm going to save that. It's saved. And we know that that means this text right here is what we were going for. And if we click it, we will see that Adam's text indeed turned white. So pretty much these are just basic. This is not the website that I would turn in because this is horrible. So you're going to work with your styles and stuff like that. But really, I just wanted to show you how to use all the techniques, and then you take it back and you make this award-winning and something amazing. Of course, I would never have this red as the background because that's just crazy, and stuff like that. But I wanted to show you the techniques. Now I want to see what you create this week as you're creating your, it's a 3-page site. What was it? Labor Day. Oh, I do want to show you one other thing. I forgot. Okay. So we have this site set up, right? So we have our main page. The next thing that we want to do is now we want to, so we're going to pretend we have it beautiful and just how we want it. But now we need to duplicate these pages so that we can have, like, say, our contact page or say our event page or whatever other 2 pages you want. This is up to you. So what I'm going to do is a few ways I can do this. I can do a file save as and save it as another name, or I could go down here and I can right click on the index and I can go to edit and I can choose duplicate. So either one works. It's going to get us the same result. It is really, really up to you. So let's say I do edit and I do duplicate. I duplicate the site. The site's now here. If I want to rename it, I can either click, pause, and then I can rename this. So let's say my next page is going to be contact. And then let's see. All right, cool. So Dreamweaver actually scans the sites for links. If we wanted to, I can choose scan, and we didn't have any but if we did have others that the link was going to change as a result of, it would update it for us, which is awesome. So awesome. All right, so I'm going to right click on this one. And for this one, I'm going to go back to edit and I'm going to duplicate. And maybe I'll name this one events. Maybe we have an event coming up. All right, so now that I have these pages, I can go through and make whatever changes I want. But from the index page, now I need to link to these other pages somehow, right? So maybe I will set up a navigation area. Now, we haven't talked about navs yet. Typically, I would have talked about, no, we talk about navs, I think, next class. Okay, but typically, let's just go ahead and set up a link. Let me see where I'd want the link looking at this. So we have Independence Day site up at the top. Maybe let's do a link right before we get to there. Okay. So typically what I would do is I would create what's called a nav area. And HTML does understand navs. And like I said, we don't get to this until we get into the blocks, but you guys are special. We'll just do it now. So I'm going to make nav tags. And so I have these nav tags in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start naming out, say, home, because that's what this page is. I'm hitting space. And I like to use the pipe, which if you hold shift, it's right under the delete key and right above the enter key. It is that slash that's over on the right side. But if you hold shift, it's the straight pipe right up above that. So I'm going to click that and choose home. And the next one I might say is events. And then the pipe. And then the last one, I'll say contact. Okay, so now I have this nav page. It's doing nothing right now, but we can check it out to see what it looks like. So I'm going to go back to our site and hit refresh. And you'll see that now it has created those links for us. And again, you can center it the way that I just showed you guys. But what we want to do with these, though, more importantly, is we want to link them. So what I'm going to do is to link it. Remember, it's the A tag. So I'll just go ahead and make one opening A, and then I'll put the closing A there. So because what I want linked is the word home. So I'll go ahead and do this I'll go ahead and set one up. Okay, so we need to href this, right? So we need the href, what do you call it? The href, goodness, words, they just escaped me. I'm sure you're telling me. I hear you guys. Oh, yes, attribute, right? So we want the href attribute, and we want to know where this is going to link. Notice Dreamweaver is kind of helping us out. And it's like, hey, you have this index.html page. That's usually what the index is, or what the home page is. And I'm like, yeah, thank you, Dreamweaver. So I have the index.html, and that's what I want this to reference to. So I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to go ahead and just to make this easier, I'm going to copy that, right? So I'm just going to Command C or Control C if you're on a PC. And then I'm going to go right back at events, paste that, because only thing I'm changing really, and I'll show you in a second. Let me go ahead and put this closing. Okay. The only thing that changes, if you name your pages right, this is super easy. The only thing that changes, if you look over here, this contact.html or events.html, name it is simple. That's all you got to do. Look at that, index.html. So that's what this is referencing. So that means that when they click on the home, because I made this a link, that's going to take them to the index.html, which we see is right here. Index.html, index.html. Too sweet. So typically I would do this before I duplicate the page, but since I already duplicated the pages, we're going to have to work in such a way. But actually we haven't done anything to the pages, so several ways we can fix this. But anyway, so index.html. So I know that this one is events. So I can, and it's all lowercase like it's supposed to be for this class. All right. So I'm going to put events.html. And then I have the same option over here with contact. I'm going to go ahead and put that closing A while I'm thinking about it so I don't forget. And then, of course, all I got to do is change out the word index to contact. Now, a common mistake is also spelling it right, but a common mistake is some people put contacts, and if you put contacts, it has to say contacts over here, or it's not going to work. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to go over to Independence Day, and then if you want to style these a bit more, you can just refer to W3 Schools and set up some styles for these. But look here, this has our links are here. So I want to go to home, if I want to go to events, and notice the links aren't there because we haven't set them up there yet, but we're going to. And if I want to contact, I'll go to the contact page. So that's cool to know that that is working. So what we're going to do, actually, we're just going to copy and paste it. That's the simplest way. The other route would be to just reduplicate the page and just replace it with this one, or to save as and save over it, which is also simple as well. But we got other things that we can do. So I'm going to highlight this whole nav area. And like I said, you'll have your nav created beforehand, so you probably won't even have to do this. So I'm going to highlight this whole nav area, and I'm going to open the contact, or contact.html is already open for us. Look at that. So contact, if it isn't though, I'm going to close it just in case it isn't. I'm going to double click on contact.html, open that, and make sure that I put this in the same spot, which if I remember was under the Independence Day title. So I'm going to hit return. And then just so that we know we're on the right page, I'm going to say in the H1, I'm going to change this to contact. Contact us. And then I'm also going to change up here where I have the title. I'm going to change this to contact. This way, two ways we'll know. So I'm going to save this. And then I'm going to go back to our document that we have, hit refresh. And now I'm on the Independence Day page. I'm going to click and look at that, contact us, and look at the top. The contact Independence Day shows up. So we just did this correctly. I can do the same thing for the events page. Making sure I'm up here under the H1 tag. Paste that in. Change this to events. And then change Independence Day to events. I can't remember if I had the underscore. No, I had the dash. Okay. Change this one to events. Save that. And now when I go back to our page and our site, and of course your page, each page is going to look different. I'm not doing this so that you can, no. You need to make your page look like a contact page and your other pages look like events page. But my goal is just to show you the technique. So here's the home page, here's the events page, here's a contact page. All right, nice. Okay, so now I have a linking page with 3 different pages. And like I said, I would go through and make each page look how I want it. But, and typically I'll make the home page, have it set up exactly how I want it with the links and everything, with, and how I want it to look. And then I'll go to the other, and then I'll duplicate the pages. That way, the only thing I'm doing is if it's a contact page, I need to, change it like contact, like, contact us, our address is here or whatever, email and all that fun stuff. And the events page, this is happening, what have you. But yeah, so that's typically the workflow that I work in. All right, so that ends our series of these videos. So hopefully that helps, and I will see you guys Monday night at 6 p.m. Hopefully these videos help you. Ta-ta.